Hey everybody, I'm back, and today I'm going to go over the Dagger Nomad medium. I paddled this boat, so I got this boat out the other day, paddled it. I was taking someone kind of like their first trip down the green, and I wanted to kind of like, go slow, show them some lines, take it easy, stay kind of safe. I needed something to save a swimmer if I had to, save gear, whatever. So instead of getting like, the kind of the going trend boats, like, instead of getting a 9R, a Phantom, an Alpha, those faster downriver boats, which I didn't need the speed because I was kind of guiding someone down, I decided to pull the Nomad out. So I haven't paddled this boat in a while. So I got it out, and it made me realize as I was paddling it, I was like, I've never actually done like a review on this boat. Might be a little longer, might be a little shorter, I don't know. I'll decide once I kind of figure out how to edit it properly. But yeah, I'm gonna go over this boat. I haven't really talked much about the Nomad, so for you guys that don't know, the Nomad is a replacement. The Nomad 8.5 and 8.1 was like a small, medium, largest. It wasn't really a large. Any big guys that try to paddle the Nomad 8.5 will know exactly what I'm talking about. The Nomad 8.5 was not really that big of a boat. It was kind of like a small and then a medium small, which I paddled the 8.5 for a while, so I had that's why my input on this design was real important, because I had paddled the 8.5 a lot. So, and it's a tried and true design. Yeah, so that thing, I won't go into the history of the Nomad 8.5 and all that crap, but I'll go over this. So the Nomads, which they call the Nomad, it's not really, reusing names is ridiculous to me. I can't stand it. There's Mambas, and there's two Mambas, there's two Antics, there's two 9Rs, there's two Nomad. What happens is, as a consumer, it's a little difficult for consumers to understand the difference between a Nomad medium and a Nomad 8.5. I think it confuses dealers. It makes it a little harder for dealers to explain people what the Nomad and the new versions of that. So please, I hope manufacturers that are listening to this, please stop rehashing names. Come up with new shit. Come up with a new name. I don't care. Come up with something new. There was some new names passed around about this, but it was kind of like a group thing, and I get it. Let's not do that anymore. But anyway, I'll go over the Nomad. So it comes in a true small, medium, large, and sizing on that. One thing that you'll notice with paddling Dagger boats, you'll paddle a Dagger boat, the sizing is real important. Getting it right. A medium feels like a medium to me. Larges definitely feel like a large, and a small feels like a small. The sizing, Dagger has a wide range of paddlers to kind of like test different boats, so kind of caters to those style of paddling. So yeah, so no matter what your size is, a small, medium, large, you'll be able to fit in this boat. I'll just go ahead, I'm going to go over the boat, stern to bow. I'll start in the back and kind of work my way through it. The specs on this boat, yeah, so I'm going to start at the stern and work my way up. You can see, the normal Dagger recessed drain plug. It's a rubberized, molded end recessed drain plug. I really like that. It's not exposed, and it's off to the side, so in the event of a backwards piton, you won't pop that out. When you put a drain plug here, you'll find out that a lot of times if you go backwards and hit something, you'll blow your drain plug out, and for the rest of the day, you hope you have some duct tape to get out of the damn run. Then trying to fix it is not the easiest thing. So you got a nice opening, you got a nice area to kind of get a handle in. You've got kind of like things where a swimmer can grab a hold of, kind of hold on to the deck. Good attachment points. You have 5 attachment points on this boat. All security bars, all made out of metal. Very, very secure. I definitely would trust my life to one of these bars, I'll trust your life to one of those bars. How about that? But anyway, this it's that normal molded in like little button right there. So that's a bracket into the foam wall to keep the foam wall from moving from, blowing out in theory. But it's like right there, anything's going to blow out with enough force. That's for damn sure. But that's screwed directly into the foam wall, into a metal bracket. Moving on, we got the cockpit rim is the standard, the 20, it's 3419, I think, it's on the standard Dagger cockpit rim. I've always liked Dagger cockpit rims. They're nice and like beefy rims. They've got a good they have changed over the years. Dagger used to have a curve in it, and they found out that leaked a lot. There was a lot of leakage around your spray skirt. So these cockpit rims are elevated up and pulled to the side. And there's one thing you'll notice about this boat. I don't know if anyone, maybe you haven't noticed. I noticed, but one thing you notice, this was the first boat that Dagger decided not to put drain ports in. You can say, oh well, the Dagger Green boat. Well, the Dagger Green boat had a pass-through hole, so it was a hole that passed through. Then in the molding process, it had to be removed. You removed a pin. Well, the mold, you know, we'll go on about manufacturing of that. You know, I'm not a big fan of that. You know, when this was talked, do you even need a port? The Nomads had it. It creates, when you put drainage right here, the problem is it's okay when you're a little shorter, but when you make your boat longer and you put drainage ports like right here or lower this area down, you create a hinge point. So when you're coming off a drop and that stern is usually the last thing to go, it starts hinging. And you'll see some boats with knots right here on the side bubbled out, and it starts hinging right there. And in the event of like the boat coming over something, it definitely has the potential to fold. The rotomolded seat will help it a lot. The structure around here will help it a lot. But you know, why add a hinge point when in a whitewater environment you don't really need drainage? We're constantly in whitewater. We're always leaning, carving, and then you'll see water puddling here. Yeah, and you know, there's screw bolts there. Tighten your damn screws, you'll be fine. You're okay. You know, this boat, my boats leak very little. I know Dagger puts a lot of fucking holes in their boat. It's all over the boat, I know. This is definitely a holy boat. You know, you could throw, you know, what, I'm not going to go on that. But it's like, anyway, it's there are holes here. Just tighten your bolts and you'll be fine. They don't leak much. If they leak at all, you're only looking at a drop of water here and there. You're totally fine. You're going to get way more through your spray skirt and through your gear than you will in these boats. It's the standard tool. You've got the standard tool to tighten all the bolts. You know, you can go around, and I keep one with me all the time to tighten down my bolts. Let's see, rotomolded. Yeah, so you've got adjustable thigh braces. You know, we basically got the standard Dagger contour Ergo Outfitting. I've covered this a little bit in the past, and actually I'm gonna one of the things with this outfitting, this is the rotomolded tank style seat with the step out pillar, and I'm gonna leave a link in the description. I'll link to a video that I'm doing of on how to escape a vertical pin, because this boat, I can tell you from experience, this boat is one of the best boats I have ever found for safety and reliability and durability and toughness. Damn, this thing is a tank. It can take a beating with that rotomolded pillar right here. The structure around your knee area is just amazing. And having that step out pillar there, to be able to put your foot on that step out pillar and get out of this damn thing in an event of a pin, it's phenomenal. When I paddle this boat, I feel like I'm in a tank. I feel safer. I just feel safer on the river. I feel slower. I feel slower. I feel like everything's kind of slowed down for me, and very soft and slowed down. But I'm okay with that. At times, you know, in a whitewater creek environment, you know, it gets a little hectic, and you kind of want things. So we don't want to just, you know, do 100 miles an hour out of everything. But yeah, so, you know, it has the standard leg lifter. It's got the leg lifter here. Hip pads, Dagger's hip pads, I can't go on and on enough on how well these hip pads work. They have adjustments on the sides, so they clip in. They're not just held by Velcro or a strap that runs around the back that you have to constantly, you know, full width to tighten those damn things down, and they don't move up and down. You put them on there, you pull that little tab, and then those things lock into place. Holds the back band in. There's a webbing strap right here that goes around. That's a type of, I think it's called Hypoline or something. That's a type of material that's got, you know, it's just got a longer life than just standard webbing. Webbing seemed to kind of fray and come apart, but this stuff's pretty good. I've seen this stuff last for years. You got to think this boat is, I think this boat's almost 4 years old now. This is like a 3 to 4 year old boat, and it's not like I haven't paddled it. This thing's been through the ringer. This is my personal boat that I've had for as long as the boat's been out, and you know, I'll hold on to this boat for, you know, probably years. I actually have 2 of them, so I have 2 of these boats now. But so if I ever break this one or destroy it, I have another one that I've been paddling that I'll swap them kind of back and forth. You got you know, the attachment point here. You know, you can always get your throw rope. You know, it's nice to hold a throw rope there. It is adjustable, so you can put water bottles and all that. The bulkhead is the standard Dagger bulkhead. The bulkhead is this. I've showed this in other videos. This is like an old one I have laying around. This is like, they've got the adjustable toe cups. So as you bring this boat, this bulkhead back, you move these bars out, move these toe coats up. And I highly recommend doing that. You know, a whole other story about, like, if you guys want to hear if you want to hear a video on how I worked on this outfitting and what I did, comment below, and maybe I'll do a video and talk about like some of the sketches and designs of things like this that I pretty much worked on personally and designed and came up with. And you know, we worked as a team to make this thing happen, but I'm really proud how this happened. But you know, I like this bulkhead, and it's still in use. You know, it's evolved. It's evolved over time, and it got a little too complicated, and then it went back, and now I like it. I like this thing. I like this bulkhead. I feel very safe with this. This by far is like the safest boat on the market, in my opinion. Yeah, so let's move that out of there. You know, what else can I talk about on this? You know, the adjustable thigh hooks. Yeah, I went on, if you've watched my rewind video, you'll know my opinion on these thigh hooks. That's one kind of fail that Dagger has. I'm not that big of a fan of them. There's too many screws. It's way too hard to adjust for the average person to adjust this. The back band, but other than that, you know, it's got this little thing hangs down. I usually pad up in there anyway. The back band's really, the back band, you know, ratcheted back band. I'm a huge fan of ratcheted back bands. They work. They've got very tiny adjustments. They don't slip. They will break. They will break and blow apart on you, but you know what? Everything breaks and everything goes apart eventually. You know, just like our hearts, I guess. You know, it's always going to, like, anything can break with enough force and enough, like, if you come off backwards off of, like, you know, a waterfall and piton, you're going to explode that ratchet, or your failure point's going to be inside this right here. And if you look, so what Dagger had found out was when you run, the best way to do this washer, actually, I've always thought that washer is kind of useless right there. It's kind of dumb, but, you know, I get it. Let's add an extra cost for nothing. But, you know, it sticks in, the way it's stitched through there is the best way to run through a ratchet. That's the best way to run through a ratcheted back band. To run through these ratchets is to stitch and sew through there. But the problem is, if this ever breaks, if you break one of these, on river repair is almost impossible. Your best bet, I carry an extra ratchet with me, but I also have like a thread through ratchet like the old Wave Sports had, and I keep those, and if in an event of like I need to, I can cut that and then webby it through and still get out of the river. Yeah. So hey, if you ever wonder what I do to get that back in there, watch this. So I grab this ratchet and I bend it like that, which makes it do that, and then I'll thread it through there like that. And now you see what it's doing as it's threading through. I'll do this while sitting in the boat. I'll use my pinky to kind of like guide it through there, and you see that. There you go. So then that's how I can do that on the river super fast. If you ever pull your ratchet strap out, just a little tip for you guys that, like, hey, you know, why do those always come out? It's super hard to get those back in. So there you go. And you'll notice, like, when I paddle this boat, I've run different. Sometimes I'll do center, but today, you know, I've been running it like maybe a ½ inch back. That way I can get more on the tail. It seems like as I've been paddling more modern boats, I'm so used to paddling in the back seat position. So I started moving all my seats back. You know, is it a bad thing? Probably. I mean, I guess. But this boat paddles really well dead center. You try to get it dead center, and the best way to tell where your seat position is this drop down right here, this step in the front of the seat. That's how you can tell kind of where your seat positioning is. Don't use this thing right here. Don't use the step out pillar, because that can be adjusted anywhere. What I use is this right here. I can look at it from a distance and tell you about where your seat is. Like them or hate them. You know, the good thing about the adjustable thigh hooks, I run mine a little farther forward in this because safety is #1 priority in this boat. because of the fact I want to be able to get my legs in and out of this boat. It's got a little lower here than like the Phantom, and it's like I feel like I want to be able to get my legs in and out of this boat really quickly. Nice step out pillar, adjustable bulkhead. You know, I'll go over that. I'll do a video on just the outfitting, you know, because there's a lot that I kind of do a little different on these boats. Yeah, got a grab handle here. Good attachment points here and here. And then this, you know, the bow grab handle. Hey, and I don't know if you noticed this, but you see these things? I don't know if you can see that. These little, it kind of looks like a little devil's face, a little devil horn right there. Leave in the comments below if you guys know what that is. That was on the original Nomad, so some might know, some maybe not. But I'd like to hear what you guys think that is, because I know what it is. I'm not going to tell you, but I know what it is. Tell me why you think we put these in there. What do you think they're used for? Maybe looks. Maybe it's just to kind of like throw it off. Maybe to do something different that no one else has done. So, I don't know. Maybe it serves a purpose. Maybe it doesn't. Remember, some things are just done for aesthetics, and some of it are just done for questions. So, yeah, leave in the comments below what you guys think these little little humps and the bumps are used for right there. Moving on, look at this bow. So looking at the bow of this boat, it's got it's got more like a progressive rocker in this boat. It kind of goes down. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but this thing, the bow goes down and it's rounded off here, and it's very smooth. It's a very smooth transition in the rocker. It's not like a sharp kick rocker, what you're seeing on some models. It starts real slow and slowly curves out. So yeah, the rocker's not extreme by today's standards, actually, which is crazy, because when I first paddled this boat, the rocker felt like, I was like, wow, that bow is like something to marvel. But man, I didn't think you could improve on that, but you can. You can improve on that. So today's boats, I love the rocker profile, but like I said, what comes along with that is sometimes I get these questions. Not all paddlers want to just come out of drops Mach 5 and just go like into next drops. And it's weird, as you know, if you're a higher level paddler, you paddle these newer model, you paddle the more modern boats, and you're like, oh, that feels great, because as you develop your paddling skills, you get used to linking rapids really well, so you can make those decisions coming out from drop to drop and just carve, and almost like, some people want to drop, eddy out, wait, look. They want to prairie dog the next drop, and then they want to peel out slow and then go to the next drop, and they want to pick a river apart. That style of paddling is kind of like in the Southeast. I still see that a lot, especially out of newer paddlers. They want that style of like slowing the paddling down. They don't want that, you know, screaming from drop to drop. And that's one thing that the Nomad, to me, was excellent. I mean, it is amazing at that, slowing your world down. It's very predictable, and no surprises. It's got a very soft chine on it. It rounds off very softly. And you could see, like, this boat is 4 years old of Southeast Mank runs. You know, I do a lot of, like, the creaking. I don't paddle it as much as I used to. But look at how good this boat's held up. This is like some hardcore creaking. There is a slight chine. There's a slight rail that starts about right here and runs down and fades out right there. And it fades out there to give that softness back here. So having that rail fade out makes this boat amazing at those kind of flare-off booths. When you're coming down, I'll try to get a little closer so you can kind of see. There is a rail there, and it's very rounded and soft right here. This thing will come off of drops. Beautiful, just the way you can come down. And one of the things that, when we were working on this boat, it was like, wanted to make a boat for that Southeast Mank, or people, you know, the New England area, the Mid-Atlantic area. You know, you look at a lot of those Pennsylvania type creeks, a lot of Southeast creeks, and a lot of those, like, you know, Vermont, New Hampshire, those little small Mank creeks, West Virginia. This is where this boat excels really well. And there's some in in Colorado, the weird thing about Colorado is, to me, it's like that. Colorado's that perfect mix of big water PNW style and southeast style, and they meet right in the middle of the U.S. So this boat might not be the best. Some can make it work. I made it work out there, and you know, OBJ, Vallecito, you know, runs like that, and you know, those kind of stop and go type runs. You don't want to just scream from drop to drop. Maybe this boat is more for you. I mean, like, that style of creaking is still like a very popular style amongst paddlers. But anyway, I'm going off on another tangent on rivers in the area. But you know, when you look at this rounded soft chine there, it gives you two things. It makes it very soft, but this thing, it works better with rocks than it does water. So you get this thing on big water, you hate it. I can tell you right now, I'm not going to try to like bullshit you guys that, oh yeah, it works. No, it sucks. It just absolutely sucks on big water. The problem is it locks in because it's rounded and there's no edges to kind of like carve in and out of things. When you get on, so I took one, a good example was I did a trip out west and I took, you know, a prototype Phantom and a production Nomad, and during the, you know, some of the early prototype Nomads went out to the PNW area, and those guys hated it. They, you know, they might bullshit you and say, you know, it's a Dagger boat and we really like. No, who gives a shit? I can tell you right now, they hated it. They kept paddling their Mambas. The Mamba 8.6 out there, ooh. That Mamba 8.6 is a thing of beauty out there. Phantom done, now Phantom replaced that. The Phantom merged those worlds, but anyway. But the this boat was, when I went out and did like big water, little white, I did like the Tumwater, things like that. Wow, this thing was terrible. Yeah, I felt like I was constantly kind of fighting to get over, like, it would lock in. Now, it was predictable. It wasn't like crazy when I'd get in eddy lines and flip me. But the thing is, if I had to be over here and make those turns to get away from big holes or like maneuver around the river, it would not like it would not unengage. This displacement hull would lock in, and it wouldn't disengage, maybe the word I'm looking for, to come out of the current to get away, because there was no rail to lean over on and get away. That's where the Nirvana out there, yes, you know, you get, it's got a high rail, so without that rail, there was nothing for me to kind of carve and get away from things. So I found myself just, boom, I would go right through things that, you're like, I made it work, but I did not, some of them I didn't want to make it work, I had to make it work. So, but it worked out. So yeah, you're gonna hate this boat if you're after the big water runs and you want to do like big flow, you're on like big pushy water, steer clear away from this boat. But if you want a boat, like you want to do some exploration kayak and you want to carry to the top of a mountain, find a spot to do, find like one of those little tight tributaries, this boat is beautiful for that. It's safe, because this thing is definitely the safest boat I've ever paddled. I would trust my life. I would paddle any type of tight creek, because in a pin situation, I can tell you right now, I can go on and on about this, in a fucking pin situation, this boat is amazing for getting in and out of. First off, it's hard to pin because it's so rounded, it bounces off of everything. So the likelihood of pinning a Nomad is very, very low to begin with. But if you do pin it with the step-out pillar, with the rotomolded seat, the design of the cockpit rim, the rocker profile, how wide that cockpit rim is, the knee area, and the bulkhead's less likely to go over that bulkhead with the expandable bulkhead. There's no other boat on the market that I would trust in a pin situation than this. And it's tough. This plastic is so tough. It's a super tough boat. And with the attachment points to get out. But yeah, let me roll it over. So you can see that it's not a super wide, but it's got a nice kind of rounded off surface. It flattens out a little right here and a little right here. It'll flatten out on you, this one's less likely to get kind of back into. The thing with this boat is, what makes this tail so good is the old Nomad, so the Nomad 8.5, so if you've got a Nomad 8.5, one of the problems with the Nomad 8.5, it comes off and it's a very small rounded tail, and it's a little shorter, and it rounds off with not much rocker back there. It kind of comes straight out, which makes it better for running waterfalls. That's why a lot of people love the older Nomad for running waterfalls, because of the lack of rocker. It goes down, it just barely rockers up at the bow. So when you're running a waterfall in a boat like that, you want to be completely vert. If you're, I mean, when I say waterfall, you know, let's be realistic. We're not talking baby falls. We're not talking, you know, this shit on the southeast where it's like, oh, you know, I ran a 50-footer. Then actually it's like, you know, 16 feet, and they act like they run a 50-footer. You go and you run like a 70 or 80-footer. You start running like way up there. You don't want a boat with a lot of rocker in the bow. You don't want, because you come down and the boat transitions too fast. Anyway, but if you guys want to hear a video about that, you know, what my experience is with things like that, I'll do a video on that. Leave in the comments. I'll talk about that later. But anyway, with the Nomad, with the old Nomad, it rounds off back here, so it had a tendency to load that stern, and then you would go straight. So you'd come over a vert pour over ledge, and if you didn't get that stern, if you didn't like transfer your weight forward over your hips, if you didn't get up over to come away from things, the old Nomad would let you know if you had bad paddling technique. These newer boats will kind of save your ass, but the older boats will not. It would load, and you would go straight up. It would load the stern of that boat. You would go up and over, and you'd see nothing but blue skies. And then the whole time you're thinking, introduce your ass to Fucksville, because you're just going straight up, and you're going to land back sideways in a vert pour over ledge, and you're just going to get a shit kicked out of you. It didn't have rails on it. It was hard to get out. So in designing that boat, this has a peak. This has, just like the bow, it has a slight peak design right here. It's wider and flatter with more volume and more rocker. But then the thing is, it's flatter right here. So it, like, instead of being rounded, it's flatter, so it doesn't squash as bad. It would go down and it would get shot straight out. So if you mistimed a boof stroke and you landed, it would load that tail and take care of you and come out. And being so flat back here, that's kind of like what gets it out. Yeah, actually, I see 16's the serial number, so it's 4 years old. But yeah, so yeah, that's a big, huge improvement from the Nomad 8.5 to the Nomad Medium. What else? Durability. I talked about durability of it. And I tell you guys, I basically just wing these reviews. I just pull a boat up and I just talk straight out of my head. I don't make notes. I don't think about it until actually I turn the camera on. Then I just talk about it. I think it's more fun that way. It tests my memory. Yeah, so it's a slight flatness here and rounds off nicely. But yeah, that's pretty much the Nomad in a. Yeah, it's got a high parting line. So if you look at the parting line is way higher than most. You know, if you see a parting line down here, it's a little more edgy, a little more grabby. So having that lifted parting line adds that super stability. One thing you'll notice as this is one of those boats that's great from beginner to expert. You know, a beginner can get in this and it'll take care of them. It's very predictable. It's super predictable, super stable back here. It's going to take care of you through the drops, but where it's not going to take care of you is in those holes. You get this thing in a hole, well, I hope you've been practicing your rodeo skills, because we're going to find out real quick how well you can do some hole escapes on a displacement hull boat, which is not the easiest, from experience, it's not the easiest thing to do, but you can do it. Yeah, so let's see, a little textured. I like the texturing right there. The texturing kind of helps with grip, getting in and out of the boat right here. There's a textured area there. It runs all the way there. Textured area back here, polished area here. Transition this volume here. The reason for that is if it was up high, when you're leaning back, if it's a big high hump, found out that the back of you can hit right there. So yeah, I think I've talked about everything on this boat I can think of. I can't think of anything else. What am I missing here? What am I missing? Oh yeah, see, I do run airbags, so always run your airbags in these boats. When I'm paddling this boat, I'm probably running some shit, so I probably want airbags in there. And it's to save my boat and probably save my ass. It gives me something to hang on to if I'm getting worked. Yeah, the Nomad. In theory, that, you know, the original graphic design was a compass going in different directions, but that's Nomad. So usually what this boat's been called is the Nomad. So yeah. All right, guys, that's pretty much it on the Nomad. So I think I've covered about everything there is to cover about this boat. I'm gonna if you think I left anything out, comment below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this boat. It's been around for 4 or 5 years now, so I know a lot of people's pilot. If you hate it, tell me why you hate it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on why you hate it, or if you like it. I'd like to hear your thoughts on why you like it so much. Yeah, so thanks a lot. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This is why before you take your boat out, you want to look and see what's in there. Leave in the comments if you guys know what that thing is. That's hilarious. That is a rare find. Yeah, let me know if you guys know what this guy is. Hey, buddy. Oh, that feels so weird. Oh my God, that feels so weird. All right, you're getting too up there too far.